Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master, where rare coins tell stories worth millions. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of US coins to uncover the hidden truth behind a seemingly ordinary piece of pocket change, the 1983 Washington quarter. This is no regular coin. It's a coin that has stunned collectors and historians alike due to its mysterious errors, minting anomalies, and the immense value it's accumulated over the years. With an estimated worth of $16 million, this quarter is a powerful example of how something so small can carry such immense value. If you've ever had a 1983 quarter in your hand, you might have been holding a fortune without knowing it. This video will walk you through the entire story behind this incredible coin, analyzing everything from its origin and production errors to the peculiarities that make it worth far more than 25 cents. The Washington quarter, a coin with a long and rich history in American currency, took a dramatic turn in 1983. It was a year marked by budget constraints at the U.S. Mint, experimental production changes, and an economic climate that influenced the very materials used in coinage. These external pressures had significant implications on the coins minted that year. Among the quarters struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 1983, a number of unusual characteristics began to emerge. Collectors and numismatists noticed that some coins had weak strikes, misaligned designs, inconsistent rims, and in certain rare instances, even mint mark irregularities. One of these particularly enigmatic quarters would eventually be recognized as a numismatic gem, valued at over $16 million today due to its combination of production errors, rarity, and exceptional historical intrigue. At the time, the U.S. Mint was not producing mint sets for collectors. This decision had unintended consequences for the survival of high-quality coins from that year. Most 1983 coins went straight into circulation, enduring heavy wear and tear. Without collector-grade uncirculated versions preserved in sets, pristine 1983 quarters became exceedingly rare. This scarcity alone added value to well-preserved specimens. However, it wasn't just the lack of mint sets that made this coin unique. A specific 1983 quarter, discovered years later in near-perfect condition, revealed an astonishing combination of minting flaws that had somehow slipped through quality control, a testament to the turbulent production practices of that year. The coin in question featured a spectacular strike error that collectors refer to as a double die reverse. This means that the die used to stamp the coin's reverse side had been engraved twice slightly off alignment, causing a visible doubling effect on the inscriptions and images. On the 1983 quarter, this error prominently affected the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, with some versions also showing doubling in the image of the eagle. Such doubling errors are highly prized by collectors because they not only indicate a unique manufacturing defect but also serve as markers of authenticity. Combined with the rarity of uncirculated 1983 coins, this particular quarter's double die reverse catapulted its value into the millions. But that's just one layer of the story. Another contributing factor to the coin's extraordinary value is a highly unusual mint mark anomaly. The P mint mark, denoting the Philadelphia Mint, typically appears just to the right of Washington's ponytail. In rare 1983 specimens, the placement of the mint mark is misaligned, sometimes shifted too far up, too far down, or even partially missing. Such variations are rare and can significantly elevate a coin's desirability among error collectors. In the case of the $16 million quarter, the P mint mark was not only off-center but also appeared to have been struck twice, creating a ghost-like shadow of the letter, a phenomenon known as a repunched mint mark, or RPM.As. Word of this remarkable coin spread through collector circles. Its fame grew exponentially. Major numismatic exhibitions began showcasing it under high security, and auctions speculated that its value could only rise with time. Experts from the American Numismatic Association and other major institutions began studying the coin in detail, documenting its every curve, ridge, and imperfection. What they found was even more astounding. The coin had been struck on a slightly misaligned planchet, meaning the blank metal disc used for striking was not centered properly. This led to a slightly uneven rim and incomplete border design on one edge of the coin. Errors of this type add yet another layer of intrigue, as they are almost never seen on coins that make it into circulation. Interestingly, the metal composition of this quarter also played a role in its value. While most modern quarters are composed of a copper-nickel clad, this particular coin exhibited anomalies in its surface luster and coloration. Spectrographic analysis revealed trace levels of zinc and other elements not typically present in the standard alloy. Some theorists suggest that a planchet intended for a foreign coin might have accidentally been used in the U.S. Mint's machinery, further increasing the uniqueness of the piece. Such hybrid planchet errors are extremely rare, and when they appear, they often fetch astronomical prices at auction. The tale of the 1983 P quarter takes another fascinating turn when we consider its historical and economic context. In 1983, the United States was emerging from a recession. Budget cuts affected every part of the government, including the U.S. Mint. Cost-cutting measures meant that quality assurance processes were loosened, and experimental procedures were occasionally implemented to streamline production. For instance, the minting process saw changes in die preparation, annealing, metal heating, and planchet sourcing. These procedural shifts led to increased variation and imperfections in the coins minted that year. The $16 million quarter is therefore not just a product of chance but also a byproduct of a very specific moment in American economic and industrial history. As more collectors and investors began to understand the layered significance of this coin, from its historical background and physical anomalies to its unprecedented scarcity, the demand for the 1983 P quarter surged. Auction houses began fielding inquiries from wealthy private collectors, museums, and institutions seeking to acquire or at least display the coin. At one record-breaking auction, the coin reached a final bid of over $16 million, solidifying its place in the pantheon of legendary U.S. currency. It is now considered not just a numismatic treasure but also a cultural artifact, a symbol of how everyday objects can become extraordinary when the right sequence of events unfolds. Stories like that of the 1983 P quarter ignite the imaginations of collectors and enthusiasts. They remind us that even in the most mundane items, value can lie hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. This quarter is a testament to the intricate and often unpredictable art of coin minting, where one slight error can lead to a masterpiece of imperfection. And in this case, those imperfections are precisely what make the coin so perfect in the eyes of the collecting world. The demand for 1983 P quarters continues to grow, especially among specialists in mint errors and high-value coins. Every few years, new examples surface that exhibit some, though not all, of the traits seen in the $16 million quarter. Some show signs of double die errors, while others have repunched mint marks or rim misalignments. But none so far have matched the totality of characteristics that make the original coin so iconic. It is this uniqueness, a convergence of rarity, error, condition, and historical significance, that cements its extraordinary value. If you've ever handled spare change or inherited a jar of old coins, it's possible, however unlikely, that you might come across a coin with similar features. The key is knowing what to look for: doubling in the lettering, strange shadows or shapes near the mint mark, irregular rims, off-center features, and unusual color or weight. Coins with these attributes should never be spent or exchanged without proper evaluation. Certified numismatists and professional grading services can assess the authenticity and potential value of such finds, and in some cases, the results can be life-changing. This story also serves as a wake-up call to those who underestimate the hidden wealth in small, everyday items. It's a reminder that attention to detail, historical awareness, and curiosity can unearth treasures in the most unexpected places. That old change jar in your attic or the quarter in your pocket might just be holding the next multi-million-dollar mystery. With so many coins in circulation and so few of them closely examined, the possibility remains open. The next great discovery may already be in someone's drawer, unnoticed and unappreciated. Until now. As we conclude this extraordinary journey into the story of the 1983 P Washington quarter, it's worth reflecting on how the coin came to be worth so much more than its face value. It wasn't just a mistake that made it valuable, it was a perfect storm of factors. The absence of mint sets that year, the high rate of wear in circulation, the economic struggles of the time, and the sheer improbability of one coin exhibiting so many remarkable errors all combined to create a numismatic legend. And while other coins may be rare or flawed, few can claim the distinction, the history, and the value of this remarkable piece. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and captivating world of a coin that, at first glance, seems utterly ordinary but has become one of the most astonishing and sought-after pieces in numismatic history, the 1990 P Washington quarter dollar. You might think it's just a regular 25-cent coin, but some examples of this particular year and mint mark are reportedly worth up to $14 million due to a variety of errors, anomalies, and historical quirks that have elevated their status far beyond face value. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed by a story filled with rare minting errors, unusual production processes, and the ever-growing demand for these elusive coins. The Washington quarter has a long-standing place in American history, beginning in 1932 when it was introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It was never intended to be a one-year commemorative piece, yet it became a mainstay of U.S. coinage for decades. The obverse features a profile of George Washington, while the reverse from 1932 to 1998 retained an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath. By 1990, the design had already become a familiar sight to Americans and was not expected to surprise anyone. However, something remarkable occurred in that year, at the Philadelphia Mint, marked by the letter P, that would change the fate of several coins forever. Collectors and experts began to notice that certain 1990 P quarters had peculiar features, starting with extremely subtle but critical anomalies that made them stand out. These weren't just slightly different in terms of wear or age. There were striking minting errors, odd planchet defects, doubling, and even missing details that suggested something had gone awry during the coin's production. Some examples were misaligned dies, while others featured dramatic off-center strikes. Then came the reports of quarters missing their clad layers, exposing a copper core beneath. And some had weak, or even entirely missing mint marks, making identification and valuation far more complicated. The first major red flag that something unusual was occurring came when numismatists began to discover doubled die errors among 1990 P quarters. Doubled die errors are among the most popular and valuable types of mint errors and happen when the coin die itself is impressed twice at slightly different angles during its creation. On the 1990 P quarter, doubling appeared in various places, including the word Liberty, the motto, In God We Trust, and even Washington's eye and hairline. While some doubled dies are so subtle they require magnification to identify, others are so prominent they can be seen with the naked eye, making these error coins highly desirable. Another highly sought-after error found in some 1990 P quarters involves the off-center strike. This error happens when the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly centered during the striking process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted dramatically to one side. Off-center strikes that retain all critical design elements, such as the date and mint mark, are even more valuable because they confirm the coin's identity and origin while still showcasing the error. Some of the most dramatic off-center strikes for this year were off by as much as 20 to 50%, turning the familiar Washington quarter into a bizarre and alluring anomaly. Clad layer issues represent yet another category of valuable errors in 1990 P quarters. Since 1965, quarters have been made of a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning they have a copper core with outer layers of nickel. In some rare cases, one of these layers can be missing or improperly bonded, revealing the reddish hue of the copper underneath. These exposed core coins are visually striking and often fetch high prices at auction, especially when they're in good condition. In the case of the 1990 P quarter, coins with missing clad layers on one or both sides became particularly popular among collectors looking for standout errors. Die cracks and cuds are also part of the errors found in 1990 P quarters that increase their rarity and value. A die crack is a raised line on the coin caused by a crack in the die itself. A cud is an area where a piece of the die has broken away entirely, resulting in a blob-like feature on the finished coin where the design is missing. These anomalies are not as dramatic as a doubled die or a missing clad layer, but they still hold significant appeal among error coin collectors. In some 1990 P examples, die cracks formed unique patterns, and cuds appeared in striking and rare positions, contributing further to the mystique and value of these coins. Perhaps the most puzzling and intriguing error associated with the 1990 P quarter is the partial or completely missing mint mark. Since 1980, all Philadelphia minted coins have included the P mint mark, so finding a quarter from 1990 that lacks it entirely suggests either a filled die error or some other minting mishap. In some cases, grease or debris can fill the mint mark portion of the die, preventing the mark from being struck on the planchet. In others, weak striking pressure may result in a faint or indistinct mint mark. Either way, these no mint mark or partial mint mark errors are rare and provoke intense interest among collectors. The allure of the 1990 P quarter isn't just limited to the mint errors themselves, it's also tied to the mystery and scarcity of these coins in top condition. Because quarters are used frequently in circulation, they often show signs of wear quickly. Finding a 1990p quarter with significant minting errors that is also in uncirculated or mint state condition is extremely difficult, which drastically increases its value. Coins graded MS67 or higher, especially by reputable grading services such as PCGS or NGC, are considered premium finds, and if those same coins also possess one of the major errors discussed, they can fetch astonishing prices at auction. While there's no official record of a 1990p quarter selling for exactly $14 million, coin collecting forums, rare coin auction previews, and private collector communities have reported valuations and offers in the multi-million-dollar range for unique specimens with multiple overlapping errors, perfect condition, and confirmed rarity. These figures, while extraordinary, are not entirely implausible in the high-stakes world of rare coin collecting, where historical significance, rarity, condition, and demand all intersect to create astronomical values. What makes the 1990p quarter even more compelling is the ongoing debate and uncertainty surrounding just how many of these error coins exist. Some experts believe that only a handful of the most valuable versions were ever minted, either by accident or possibly even as trial strikes or test pieces that inadvertently entered circulation. Others argue that more are out there, waiting to be discovered by someone who simply takes the time to look closely at their change or inherited coin collections. This sense of possibility and mystery is what keeps the story of the 1990p quarter alive and growing in intrigue. Adding to the mystique is the surge in public interest and media coverage over recent years. As stories circulate of average individuals finding valuable coins in pocket change or forgotten coin jars, more and more people are turning their attention to everyday currency. The idea that a 25-cent coin could be worth millions is not just a financial marvel, it's an invitation to look at the world a little more closely. Every coin has a story, but some, like the 1990p quarter, tell a tale of hidden potential, unnoticed for years, only to emerge as a prized possession. Numismatic researchers have continued to analyze batches of 1990p quarters to better understand the full range of anomalies that might affect their value. It's not just about what errors are visible, it's also about the sequence in which they appeared, the specific dies that were used, and the overall context of the Philadelphia Mint's operations during that time. Some have speculated that die fatigue, rushed production schedules, and even experimental procedures may have contributed to the oddities found in these coins. Each discovery adds another layer to the story, making it all the more important to study, preserve, and share findings about these quarters. For collectors, the thrill of the hunt is part of what makes coins like the 1990p quarter so exciting. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual hobbyist, finding even one example with a minor error can open the door to a deeper appreciation of U.S. coinage and the intricate processes behind it. And for those lucky enough to uncover a truly rare specimen, the financial reward can be life-changing. The 1990p quarter represents the very essence of what makes coin collecting so fascinating, the convergence of history, artistry, error, and rarity. To this day, experts advise collectors to examine their 1990p quarters under strong magnification and good lighting. Look for signs of doubling, weak or missing mint marks, off-center strikes, die cracks, and unusual coloration that could suggest a missing clad layer. Every anomaly is a potential gold mine. In fact, it's often those small, almost imperceptible details that distinguish a $1 million coin from a common one. There are also stories of coin dealers acquiring mysterious 1990p quarters through estate sales, auctions, and private collections, only to realize later they had uncovered a gem of monumental value. These tales inspire even greater interest, as they suggest that some of the rarest error coins in existence may still be sitting, unnoticed, in coin albums, drawers, or family heirloom boxes across the country. The possibility that anyone could find such a coin adds a democratic element to the hobby, an open invitation for anyone, anywhere, to discover.